Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of the Radium Girls. I'm Valerie.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we are bringing you an episode on La Llorona. It's a spirit. If you don't know.
If you don't know, you're about to.
You're about to find out.
Side note, we just had our 1-year anniversary episode last week. And so this is our start of year 2. But I just want to shout out to ourselves because it took us almost a full year to get like, hey everyone, on the same beat. Like,
yes,
that was a struggle when we first started. Like, I don't know how many times we recorded just, hey everyone, hey everyone, hey everyone.
An embarrassingly amount.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
An embarrassing amount?
An embarrassing amount. Embarrassingly.
I don't know. I think you started to or tried to or something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, that just side note, and I thought that was pretty cool because I just thought about that, thinking like, this is our first take, and we killed it. So, yeah. Also, this was a requested story.
Yeah, this was requested by our friend Shauna. Thanks for the Halloween spooky story request.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out. And don't forget that you can send us a request as well. We'd love to hear ideas that you'd like for us to cover. Don't forget we have an Instagram. You could send us a message there, comment down below on our YouTube, send us a Facebook message or comment on one of our Facebook posts, anything like that. We have an email, theradiumgirlspodcast@gmail.com. Did you guys watch our Halloween introduction video?
For our Halloween month.
For our Halloween month. I'm not sure what to call it. So
yeah.
Our fun little skit.
Yeah.
Did you see it? If you haven't watched it, like stop this video and go watch it. We posted it the day before the day of posting this one. If that makes sense.
Yesterday, if you're watching it on
release
day.
If you're watching this video like the day we would put it out, it was yesterday's video. But if you're watching this like in the future, then just it's a video right before this one. But you should check it out. Stop this. Go watch it. If you have watched it, like, thank you so much, number one, for watching it. Share it with all your friends. And what did you think? We worked really hard on that.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun recording.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Shout out to Chris for helping us film it and edit it and adding all the spooky effects and stuff.
Yes.
And shout out to Valerie for killing her scenes. Like,
please.
You killed it.
You did.
My scream was real.
Yeah, God.
One take. I'm sorry. I'm so proud of it. Yeah, I feel like you and Chris were stunned for a minute. I even think, like, was that okay? Like, do I need to do it again? Because y'all wouldn't speak. It's like, what is happening?
She went all in.
It was so much fun.
She had some aggression that was, like, pent up.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. But that was a lot of fun.
But this is the start of our Halloween month. We have some special episodes, and that was just like a little fun intro thingy for it.
Yeah. Did you like it? Would you like to see more of those types of videos? I mean, we're probably going to do one yearly anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. And if you did like it and you have an idea of something that we could do, let us know.
Yep. Let us know.
So,
we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's jump on in.
That's cute. I like that. All right. The Legend of La Llorona.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
To me, it sounded good.
Okay. Spanish for the weeping woman has been part of Hispanic culture in the Southwest since the days of the conquistadors. The tall, thin spirit is said to be blessed with natural beauty and long, flowing black hair. She wears a white gown and roams the rivers and creeks, wailing into the night and searching for children to drag screaming to a watery grave. No one really knows when the legend of La Llorona began or where it originated. Though the tales vary from source to source, the common thread is that she is the spirit of a doomed mother who drowned her children and spends eternity searching for them in rivers and lakes. That kind of makes me think of Mama.
Oh, see, I was thinking of what's that freaking show? Like Hill House, but the second season.
Oh, The Haunting of
Blind Manor.
Blind Manor?
Yes. That girl, she just walks, is like through the thing and she's in the water and shit.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
What it
Definitely
remind
could
you
see
of?
that. Huh?
What it remind you of?
Mama, the movie?
Oh. Yeah,
I just watched that like last week, so it's fresh on my mind.
Who told me to watch it? Did you tell me to watch it? Someone told me to watch it.
Maybe.
Oh, I think I watched it with my sister-in-law.
Okay, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to hold myself to it.
It was pretty recent, though.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it every time. But, okay, anyways. La Llorona, christened Maria, was born to a peasant family in a humble village. Her startling beauty captured the attention of both the rich and the poor men of the area. She was said to have spent her days in her humble peasant surroundings, but she would don her best white gown in the evenings and thrill the men who admired her in the local fandangos. The young men anxiously waited for her arrival, and she reveled in the attention that she received. However, La Llorona had 2 small sons who made it difficult for her to spend her evenings out and often left them alone while she cavorted with the gentlemen during the evenings. One day, the 2 small boys were found drowned in the river. Some say they drowned through her neglect, but others say that they may have died by her own hand.
Another legend says that La Llorona was carrying a woman full of life and love who married a wealthy man who lavished her with gifts and attention.
Oh, man.
However, after she bore him 2 sons, he began to change, returning to a life of womanizing and alcohol, often leaving her for months at a time. So just don't have kids.
So just don't have kids and he won't change.
Yes.
Wow.
He seemingly no longer cared for the beautiful Maria, even talking about leaving her to marry a woman of his own wealthy class. That's rude.
Rude.
That's rude.
Mm-hmm.
When he did return home, it was only to visit his children, and the devastated Maria began to feel resentment towards the boys. One evening, as Maria was strolling with her 2 children on a shady pathway near the river, her husband came by in a carriage with an elegant lady beside him. Elegant lady. He stopped and spoke to his children, but ignored Maria, and then drove the carriage down the road without looking back. Good thing he ain't got no heart.
No.
After seeing this, Maria went into a terrible rage, and turning against her children, she seized them and threw them into the river. As they disappeared downstream, she realized what she had done and ran back to the bank to save them, but it was too late. Maria broke down into inconsolable grief, running down the street screaming and wailing. The beautiful La Llorona mourned them day and night. During this time, she would not eat and walked along the river in her white gown, searching for her boys, hoping they would come back to her. She cried endlessly as she roamed the riverbanks, and her gown became soiled and torn. When she refused to eat, she grew thinner and appeared taller until she looked like a walking skeleton. Still a young woman, she finally died on the banks of the river.
Is this still like a legend? Like this is allegedly what happened, like where her story allegedly is from?
Yeah. Okay. I guess it depends on like where you're from, how her story is.
Interesting. Not long after her death, her restless spirit began to appear, walking the banks of the Santa Fe River when darkness fell. Her weeping and wailing became a curse of the night, and people began to be afraid to go outside after dark. She was said to have been seen drifting between the trees along the shoreline, or floating on the current with her long white gown spread out upon the waters. On many a dark nights, people would see her walking along the riverbank and crying for her children. And so, they no longer spoke of her as Maria, but rather La Llorona, the weeping woman. Children are warned not to go out in the dark, for La Llorona might snatch them, throwing them to their deaths in the flowing waters. Yeah. Damn. Though the legends vary, the apparition is said to act without hesitation or mercy. The tales of her cruelty depends on the versions of the legend you hear. Some say that she kills indiscriminately, taking men, women, and children, whoever is foolish enough to get close enough to her. Others say she is very barbaric and kills only children, dragging them screaming to a watery grave. So we have some stories from some people, that may have seen La Llorona. And also, I apologize now for any mispronunciation I have, especially on these names.
Yes.
You say same?
Same here, yeah.
When Patricio Lugan was a boy, he and his family saw her on a creek between Mora and Guadalupe, New Mexico. As the family was sitting outside talking, they saw a tall, thin woman walking along the creek. She then seemed to float over the water, started up the hill, and vanished. However, just moments later, she reappeared much closer to them and then disappeared again. The family looked for footprints and, finding none, did no doubt that the woman they had seen was La Llorona. She has been seen along many rivers across the entire Southwest, and the legend has become part of the Hispanic culture everywhere. Part of the legend is that those who do not treat their families well will see her and she will teach them a lesson. You better teach your family right. Better teach them right.
Teach them right.
Better treat your family right.
She's gonna get y'all.
Gonna get you.
Another story involved a man by the name of Epifanio Garcia, who was an outspoken boy who often argued with his mother and his father.
I just said, treat your family right.
After a heated argument, Epifanio, along with his brothers Carlos and Augustine, decided to leave their ranch in Ojo de la Vaca? Eye of the cow? Is that what? Means? I think that's what that means.
What?
I don't know, though. To head toward...
I don't know why you asked me, right?
Right? To head toward the Villa Real de Santa Fe. God.
I'm so disappointed in Val.
Girl, it wasn't me. That's how I was raised.
I mean, but did you not take Spanish?
I took French.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, no, you didn't. I didn't either, so.
Did you take French?
No, they only had Spanish or sign language.
You took sign language? Mm-hmm. Okay, back to the story. However, when they were along their way, they were visited by a tall woman wearing a black tapalo and a black net over her face. Two of the boys were riding in front of the wagon when the spirit appeared on the seat between them. I'm thinking not.
What would you do? Would you scream and jump off?
Heck yeah. What would you do? Shake his hand?
I probably would be frozen, honestly. Yeah. I'd probably freeze.
Honestly, if you have fight, flight, or freeze, mine's freeze. So I'd probably freeze.
That's too funny.
And pee might as well.
And then when you gather yourself, you're gonna fight.
Yep.
Flight.
Yep.
In case you thought I said fight. No.
Flight.
Flight.
Fly away.
That's too funny.
What would yours be?
I'd probably fight.
You gonna fight it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't fight. If it was an apparition, I probably wouldn't fight it, but it'd probably possess me.
But you just said you would freeze.
Well, I'd probably be frozen, is this really happening?
Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna fight it.
Nah.
Well, what you want? What you doing?
I mean, if it tries to take me, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fight. I know I probably couldn't do nothing, but
then I would fight. I'll fight. I would do all three. Depending on the moment.
Sure.
She was silent and continued to sit there until Epifanio finally turned the horses around and headed back home, at which time she said, "I will visit you again someday when you argue with your mother." I would never argue with my mother again.
For real. Make it a point to never argue with her.
Yes. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, the tall wailing spirit has been seen repeatedly in the PERA building, the Public Employees Retirement Association. Built on land that was once an old Spanish Indian graveyard and near the Santa Fe River, many people who have been employed there tell of hearing cries resounding through the halls and feeling unseen hands pushing them while on the stairways. Oh my God! La Llorona has been heard at night wailing next to rivers by many, and her wanderings have grown wider, following Hispanic people wherever they go. Is it me too?
Yeah.
Her movements have been traced throughout the Southwest as far north as Montana on the banks of the Yellowstone River. The Hispanic people believe that the weeping woman will always be with them, following the many rivers looking for her children, and for this reason, many of them fear the dark and pass the legend from generation to generation. La Llorona woke me up once when I was camping at Indian Falls Rapids on the Yampa River in Colorado when I was 15. I walked with her to a cabin, and there was a man in the bed.
Walked with her?
Why are you doing that? All I saw was his foot, but when she yelled at me to run, I did. If I didn't smash my toe on a rock, I would have ran off the cliff into the Indian Falls Rapids. I saw an article in this month's Mountain Gazette about her and looked her up on the internet. My experience was 21 years ago. This was Brian from Colorado, October 2008.
Dang.
So there was a man. All he saw was a foot. She yelled at him to run, and he did, and he hit his toe.
Yes, Val, that about sums that up.
Interesting. That's an
But
interesting
he said
story.
he said that had it not been him smashing his toe, he would have ran straight into the rapids.
Yeah.
And got swept away and basically killed.
It's true. But that's weird that you would follow her and then
she's
"Run."
That's weird. Yeah, why are you following her?
To a cabin, yeah. And go inside.
Like, hell no.
Mm-mm.
Crazy.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
If someone wakes you up in the middle of the night, do not follow her.
Mm-mm.
I mean, as tempting as it may be.
As beautiful as she may be.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. She's either a serial killer or she's...
Spirit.
Yeah. There's no telling.
There's no telling.
There's so many different
Skinwalker.
possibilities.
Who knows?
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
While working as a copy editor for a newspaper recently, I came across a wire story about the La Llorona. That brought back memories of what happened to me while I was a student at Kansas State University in the early 1980s in Manhattan, Kansas. One evening, I went to a mobile home that I seem to remember being near a creek or a river to visit a couple of my friends who also were attending K-State. As I walked into the door, I found them sitting on the sofa looking somewhat freaked out. They explained that just moments earlier, one of the bar stools was spinning and hopping around. As they were Mexican Americans, they wondered whether the La Llorona had anything to do with that incident. They explained the legend to me as I had never heard about it before. They would invite me to stay the night in a spare bedroom, which I did. Later in the night, a woman appeared to me laying next to me in bed and asked if I would know where her children were. It seemed that while I may have been dreaming, I was half awake. Then I fully awoke and looked up toward the doorway just in time to see a dark figure seemingly looking at me and then quickly ducking back out of the doorway. Right then, that left me too scared to go check and see if it was one of my friends checking in on me, perhaps to see why I was talking in my sleep or something. I went back to sleep and waited until the morning to ask if either one of them looked into my room during the night. Neither one of them did. So to this day, I do not know whether I really did experience a supernatural visit or if my dream and mind played tricks on me. Not submitted by a name and city withheld, August 2006.
It's a creepy story.
Yeah.
As we noted above, La Llorona doesn't limit her travels to New Mexico. Seemingly, she follows Hispanic people wherever they go, as evidenced by Pete Sanchez's story about crossing the San Bernard River Bridge in East Bernard, Texas. East Bernard is southwest of Houston in Wharton County. This old community built its first residence around 1850 on the east side of the San Bernard River. Today, the San Bernard Bridge spans the river. Several years ago, Mr. Sanchez was driving along in East Bernard with the radio blaring. As he was crossing the river bridge, he was startled as he looked to the right to see a semi-transparent woman sitting in his passenger seat. Dressed in all black, the spirit's face was covered by a lacy black veil. Obviously frightened, Sanchez hit the gas hard, speeding past the bridge and not looking back into the passenger seat. It wasn't until he was past the bridge that he found the courage to look again. The spirit had vanished. Mr. Sanchez readily admits that he is still freaked out today by that ghostly image. When Mr. Sanchez read the story above about the Garcia brothers encountering a tall woman wearing a black pillow and a black net over her face, who appeared on the wagon seat between them, he obviously saw similarities. And we agree. I was 8 years old when my grandma told me to go to the store to buy soda. This was during the evening as we were getting ready to eat supper. My brother and I left for the store, and along the way we heard wailing, but we didn't pay much attention to it. However, as we continued on, we saw a young woman walking towards us. Suddenly, my brother started to cry, and the woman ran toward him, acting as if she was going to get him. When we saw that she was floating instead of walking, we began to run back to her house and told her grandmother and mom what had happened. We just locked the door and started to pray to God to help us and make La Llorona go away. And that was submitted by Daisy Cauldron. Daisy is now 12 years old and believes La Llorona is real.
Another story for y'all. When I was about 8 years old, I had just started becoming interested in all things paranormal. I was researching La Llorona when all of a sudden I heard a noise, so I decided to check it out. Then I heard it again. It sounded like it was coming from the bathroom, so I walked in and stopped at the sink. I'm sorry, but no. If I hear something and it sounds like it's coming from a bathroom, no, I'm not going in there.
Not no bathroom.
That kind of crosses my line. I don't know what it is. I guess because it's a small area, you can get locked in.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. Then all of a sudden, my head was pushed into the sink and the water started to run.
Dang.
Yeah. The sink finally filled all the way and I was trying to breathe. Then I couldn't breathe anymore. I thought I was going to die of lack of oxygen, so I screamed and my mom came in. She pulled my head out after a struggle and hugged me tightly. She knew I wouldn't drown myself, so she started thinking. Then she froze. Her face turned white. She screamed and almost fainted. I asked her what was wrong, and she said with a stutter, La 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 Llorona. That's submitted by Emily Ortiz.
I feel like that was a murderer. What the heck, man?
That one is kind of weird because, no other connections to La Llorona.
Yeah, it's just probably they're Hispanic and that's what they think.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Another story. When I was 12 years old in 1991, my parents separated and my mother moved me and my brother to Monterrey, Mexico. In the winter, all three of us would sleep in the same room because there was no central heating, only electric heaters. There were 2 beds for my mother and brother. I slept on the floor in a sleeping bag next to my mother's bed.
That's rude. Why does he gotta sleep on the floor?
I know. One night, around 2:30 in the morning, I woke up because I had been dreaming about my great-grandma. She kept calling my name, 3 times to be exact. Just a few minutes later, I heard the scariest screams coming from down the street. It was horrible. The cries continued, each time coming closer. I was so horrified that I could not even wake my mother, who was laying right next to me. I was so scared, I did not even blink. It was the most evil cry I have ever heard. Finally, it passed my house and slowly faded away. The next day, I told my mother, I didn't believe in stuff like this, especially not La Llorona. After that night, I do. Submitted by Adriana of Houston, Texas.
I do not want to hear no wailing.
No.
So, I have a little story.
Ooh, a little one.
In Mexico as a kid. I don't remember this happening, but everyone told me the story about me. So we were in Mexico when I was little at one time and visiting my dad's family. And we were walking by I don't know if it was a river or a pond or something, or I think someone might have said a whale. I don't know. But apparently I fell in.
Dang.
And my dad had to come yank me out. So La Llorona was trying to get me. She was trying to snatch me up.
Snatch you up.
Right.
Damn.
In Mexico.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I don't remember I don't remember my freaking childhood as it is, but I don't remember that happening, but everyone tells me that happened. So
Sam.
She tried to snatch me.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any La Llorona stories.
But you know I'm very clumsy, so.
That's very true. I can only imagine what little Val was.
Sacrificing myself. La Llorona.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I wish I had stories about La Llorona, but I don't have any.
You wish you had some?
No.
I sure don't.
Yeah. That's our story for today.
Yes.
Have you heard this legend before? Because that was the end of it, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Okay. Have y'all heard that legend before? Do you have any La Llorona stories to tell us?
Yeah, we'll read them.
We'll read them.
I don't have any except for she just snatched me out the water.
Not out of the water. In
the water. She pushed me in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think about the story? Have you heard that legend?
But that was our first episode of the Halloween month.
Yeah, spooky season.
Spooky season is here.
Let us know what you're dressing up as for Halloween.
There you go.
You know, I'm so curious. I need ideas. If you're watching this after Halloween, let us know what you dressed up for on Halloween. I almost said it again.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why I was struggling with that. But yeah, I'm so curious to know.
Show us pictures.
Yeah, show us
Tag
pictures. Tag us in your pictures, the Random Girls Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, what else? Eventually, maybe we'll do TikTok.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, we've got some more like really dark stories coming at ya.
It's only getting darker.
It's only getting darker from here. Be prepared.
Be burn.
Anyways, yeah. Thank you for listening. And, you know, don't forget to subscribe, like all of our videos, share it, tell your friends about us. So thank you guys for listening and watching us. And as always, stay curious. Yeah.
Halloween.
Halloween.
Ooh.